Hi guys, we're here. It's been almost 2 weeks to the day since we made our big move. We're still stuck in the bike trailer with the rabbits. We have been shopping for some sheds. I'm going to give you a little update on that. But everything's going well. I mean, you're getting me here this morning with my no makeup look, which is probably won't see too often, but you know, this is real farming. I mean, honestly, I'm not coming out here every day with my face made up to tend the rabbits. But everyone's doing well. You know, the bike trailer, again, it's working just fine for this. My biggest issue is that it's not a long-term solution. I really would like to get back to breeding these rabbits. You know, we're heading into the end of September. Hi, Peony. Peony's saying hi. So, you know, I don't want to lose that day length and that nice fall breeding time, and they've been open for a while now. And any issues that the bucks had remaining from heat sterility. You know, we haven't been in high heat for quite a while now, so they should be coming out of that. But to get them out of that, we're also going to have to kind of clean out the pipes. So I do want to get back breeding here, hopefully within the next couple weeks. So update on the shed search. There's a lot of options. But they're, you know, we're kind of trying to strike a balance between price, affordability, you know, features, what we need, size, and we've got some good options. I'm not afraid of that. I did check out the Amish built buildings. One of the issues is that because we're heading into fall, a lot of them are kind of shutting down custom builds for the year, which also would have too much of a lead time for me. I don't want to wait 4 to 6 weeks to get these situated. You know, want to get them into something. So what we're leaning towards right now is a building from Old Hickory Sheds. There's quite a few of those dealers around here. We've checked them out. Probably not quite as nice of a construction as like the Amish built, but honestly, even the Amish built and a lot of the other custom built, sorry guys, that was me kicking the bucket. Not literally kicking the bucket, but moving it over, and you know, everything echoes in the bike trailer. So yeah, so a lot of those materials that they're all using, you know, definitely some are better than others, especially depending on the size of the shed. You get some beefed up studs and whatever in some of the larger ones, but everything's good and well rated for around here. But a lot of those materials are similar no matter who's using them. Some of them have a little bit better of a floor material, but you know, we've had one of these sheds in the past. It actually was our chicken, it was a shed that we used for like garden and ATV storage and stuff like that. Then it was used, it had a lot of lives at the other house. It was movable for one. So that's another reason we're leaning towards these Old Hickories, is that they're a 10-foot width. And one of the Amish built ones that we talked to, for what we've got going on right now, might be a little tight getting it in here. We've measured, think it could be done. I've got to send them some pictures just for a final say so, but we really think that that's, it would be tight getting in here, probably a little tighter than they're going to want to work with. But also, we're going to need to move the shed again later, because right now, you know, we're in the woods, and you know, definitely we don't want to have to keep everything this close to the house, especially with 46 acres to spread out to. We are going to have a lot of clearing, probably about half this property, so that we can do some elderberry fields and some different things like that. Who even knows? You know, sky's the limit when we've got this much raw woods and clearing to deal with. So those are all good options, but you know, yeah, we're not gonna, right now, literally about half an acre of this property is cleared. So we don't want to keep the rabbits this close to the house permanently, because we don't need to, and that's just not kind of the look and feel we want for the farm. So we are looking at something that's movable later. We do have heavy equipment, tractors and whatnot. We will have an excavator, so we will be able to do that, but we also want to keep it something on the more modest side that's going to be a little easier to move later on. So again, price, features, and most importantly, availability. And that's what we're kind of landing on right now in this area, is those old hickory sheds. So we've been looking at some lofted barns. We've been looking at some that have some nice double doors in the front, also some windows and dormers. The thing I'm trying to kind of mentally figure out, and I'm not great at picturing things that way, is how we can arrange and line those walls with the cages, because we're going to have some blind corners, because you can't, we can't butt these parallel to each other. We'd be blocking up the cages. We'd be having, we don't want the bucks and does too close that they're spraying or breeding through wire or anything like that. But we've been on the search. It's just it's about decision time. We've looked at all of them. The problem right now is I've looked at so many, it's hard to even remember. I'll try to maybe tack a few pictures if I have any decent pictures of what we've shopped for in there. But that's where we're leaning towards getting the rabbits out, getting them breeding, getting back on our feet, and getting some meat back on the table. So all good things. I don't know if I've talked about it really before, about why we decided to come to Maine, why we decided to do this relocation. And there were a lot of reasons, some of them personal. Well, I guess they're all personal in the end, right? But the rabbits did actually play into this, or at least homesteading, food, cottage laws, that type of thing. What I found in my research is that it's a lot better here. We were in Massachusetts, and in Massachusetts, you can't breathe without permission, and they are not going to make any exemptions or anything to make it easier. Up here in Maine, we have the option, don't know if we'll do it, but we have the option to exercise if we want. They actually do honor the 1,000 animal exemption. There's actually a 20,000 animal exemption that I think is a little bit more of an in-between. But the bottom line flat out is I can file with the state. If I want to process whole rabbits, sell them off my property, I can go to farmers markets with them. I can go door to door with them. I can deliver to someone. I can sell to restaurants and things like that. Now, I think that's some of you, especially some of you like in the Midwest, who have said, oh, you can just do it this way. You can out there, and you can up here, but that was never going to be an option in Massachusetts. It was, it would be a whole lot of trying to work with representatives to try and get laws changed that I don't see changing, because there are too many people down there that know better than you do. That, I'm all about the food freedom, and Maine has a great sovereignty movement and food freedom movement, not just for the meat, not just for the rabbits, but in general. So that was one thing that played into it. Mostly it was land accessibility, options for my husband and myself and my family, opportunities for our adult kids who are coming up here. And, already we've got at least one who's landed a job in under 2 weeks. So, people have a lot of things to say about the job market up here and whatever. So far, so good. Like, everybody's thriving. There are good things coming. We're excited about the future. But we wanted to live a place a little more free. So, we can get on an ATV. We can go out to the lakes. We can go enjoy the woods. My husband did have an injury years ago that limits his ability to get out and get on his feet for a long period of time. So that all played into it too. Like I said, lots of personal stuff that I don't really want to delve into all of that, but these are all things that we're considering, and these are kind of all the things we're leaning towards. And with the rabbits, I'm excited about that option. Like I said, will I exercise it? Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but it's nice to know that you're living in a place where you have options. So that's my update for the day. Any other questions, comments, want to know a little bit more about, the exemptions and the movements up here, reasons why, check them in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Again, really appreciate everybody's support and well wishes, and I hope to give you more to look at than just my bike trailer pretty soon. But that's us coming along. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.